Hello all, this is Cody Wyman here doing this video. Today we're going to talk about one subject in music theory that gets people all crazy or something rhythmically that is in music theory that often gets confused, and that is syncopation. And I talk about it in a blog post in my CJW Music Lessons vlog or blog. Rather, check that out at cjwmusiclessons/blog.html. And in one of the lectures that I try to always give my students is the challenge of syncopation. And there are many different types of syncopations that we'll talk about. And this is part one of probably a many-part series, because we'll be going over different types of syncopations that you see in the realm of music theory. And in this video is kind of just an introductory video on the most common type of syncopation that you'll see. And the most common type of syncopation that I could think of that is in music is the syncopation that occurs when you have a bar of 4/4 that is normally the accent on 1 and 3, if possible, usually 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually beats 1 or beat 1 and 3 are accented normally. You can actually have syncopation when you syncopate the second and fourth beats rather than the first and third. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. See how I'm saying 2 with more of an accent? That's because I'm accenting the second beat of the measure. And you can also have syncopation when a common note value is tied over to another beat or shifted to another area that is not accented usually. So those are the two most common types of accents that you'll find in music notation. And we'll go into more of those examples as we go on. But normally you'll have different accents. Number 2, you'll have let's say a dotted quarter note tied over to an eighth note in the next measure. That'll usually bring a syncopation or a shift, which is basically what syncopation is, to the music in question. So I would like to go over those types of syncopations in detail. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to issue them in the comments. And also, don't forget, I have a course that just came out called Write Your First Piece of Music in 14 Steps Finale Edition. I go over how to use Finale to write your first piece of music, so that is available for free for the first 100 people that actually click the link below the video. And yes, it is below the video. And you can have at it. It's there for you. So on to the finale examples. So from here we could see, here's a piece that I've been working on. It's for string quartet and piano. And there's some editing I need to do, of course, but we'll get to that later. I want to actually go and show you guys the piece and see if you guys could spot the various syncopations that I put in. And let me know in the comments if you see any syncopations and how many. And this will be a good lesson for you all. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. All right. So after listening to this, can any of you find any types of syncopation that are in the piece? There's a ton of syncopation, and I did it on purpose because I wanted you to see that there is a ton of syncopation in here. A lot of it can be hidden, although a lot of it has a syncopation where you have the and of 4 tying over into measure or the next measure, beat 1, or you'll have you know, like this right here, half note tied to an eighth note and it carries on the rest of the first bar in the viola. You could also see, you know, in the viola part and in the violins, you could see the first beat, the 1 is silent, followed by the and, like in the violin 1. Violin 2, you have an eighth note and then a stronger accented quarter note in the violin 2 in measure 5. That's another syncopation. There are tons of syncopations throughout this piece, and I tried purposefully, this is a trick you guys, I tried purposefully to write something that would be slow enough for you to catch the syncopations, but would have numerous syncopations because I wanted students to see the syncopations and the amount and the types of syncopations that are in here, because it's just crazy how many syncopations you can put in. And you know, if you were listening to the beat or listening to the piece, notice where the accents fall normally. It's usually on the and of 1 and on the and of 2. On the ands is usually a common popular type of accented syncopation, which repeats itself all the way throughout the piece. And you've got, you know, the da, you'll have eighth note quarter or eighth note rest on the beat 1 and the strong beat be on the and of 1. Or if it's ba, you've got that eighth note quarter note thing, which would be, if it was quarter note was 1, 2, 3, 4, you would have the accent on 2 and not the end of 1. So this is another type of accent there, syncopation there. There's tons of syncopation. Dot, dot, that's a syncopation. Eighth, quarter, eighth. Dot, dot, that's a common type of syncopation. Are there any syncopations that have tied notes over into the next bar that you could see? Anybody in the comments? Type it in. I'm going to let you look at this a little bit more. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff in here, and the only part that I don't have anything is in the contrabasses, but I'll put that in. That's going to be more straightforward 1, 2, 3, 4, by the way. But there's a lot of eighth note, quarter, eighth syncopations, which is one type of syncopation that we'll cover in the next lecture, in the next presentation. But as I said, there's so many different types of syncopation, from the tied over syncopations into the next measure, the eighth note, quarter, eighth note, the accenting beat 2 instead of beat 1, or beat 3 instead of beat 1. There's a ton of different syncopations in which we will go over in the next lectures in more detail. If you like this video, please like it and comment and subscribe for more content. If you guys do want some more content, there is a Write Your First Piece of Music Finale Edition free for the first 100 people who grab the coupon at the link below the video. And there's also the original edition of Write Your First Piece in 14 Steps, which is using MuseScore, the free MuseScore program that is easily given to you at musescore.org rather. So go ahead and check those out, and I will see you in the next video.